Seymour's out there doing this job.
Now, when we look at the situation that is happening in Ukraine, and we see America unhinged, that she'll go to any length to try to push her goals through on everyone. What do you think the situation will be like if she continues to push China over Taiwan? And we look at Russia's manufacturing, her military industrial complex, but that pales in comparison to what the Chinese can do. So, what do
Chinese.
you think the outcome would be if America continues to push the Chinese over Taiwan?
Let me put it this way. We talked about FAFO before. Okay, with Russia, that's small letters. Small f, small a, small f, small o. With China, it is capital letters, 48 font, bold. FAFO. All right? That's what's going to happen here. But the good news is the Chinese don't want a war with America or Taiwan. They're looking for a peaceful resolution. The bad news is America seems to want a war. I mean, we have a general, in the lead up to the Gulf War, there was a general, I think his name was Dugan. I'm old and I'm getting senile, so you got to forgive me. But I think General Dugan was an American Air Force general. I think he was the Air Force component commander of the forces getting ready to fight Iraq. And he spouted off at the mouth about, the air campaign. And he was fired on the spot because they said, you aren't empowered to do that. It's not your job. Your job is to implement the orders we give you, not to opine on things publicly. You're not a policy maker. You're a policy implementer. We have a Air Force general, 4-star general named Minahan. He commands, I think, Air Mobility Command. These are the guys that fly, the big logistics aircraft and all that cargo planes. And he came out and published a paper where he said, he believes we're going to go to war with China in 2025. He believes. Dude, if you believe it, keep it to yourself. You don't have a right to write this down. It's not your job. He should have been fired. And then he told all of his Air Force pilots and logistics guys to go get their pistols and fire a clip. P.S. General, if you qualified on a pistol, you'd know that it's called a magazine. We don't call it clips. Clips is what Hollywood people call it, but it's a magazine. But fire a clip and empty all the rounds at the head. Oh, General, when we qualify, we don't empty rounds at the head. We actually shoot center mass right here, you see, because that's how you kill people. You shoot for the head, smaller target, you might miss, then they get to fire back and they kill you. So, he obviously doesn't know anything about anything, but he's opining about it. It got picked up in the media and yet he's still the general. He's still there. It's irresponsible. We have other generals talking about how we're going to attack mainland China to disrupt their logistics if they ever invade Taiwan. We have other generals talking about how our Navy can do the job. Actually, it was admirals talking about that. But my point is, we are very belligerent, very belligerent. And the Chinese are sitting there looking at us going, hey, guys, every year you run a war game about this conflict, in Newport at the Naval War College. Why don't you go ask them how the war games end up? Oh, we lose all the time. Imagine that. In fact, the only time we win is when we cheat. I mean, I don't know if you guys are computer gamers, but I have, my daughters have friends. They're of the age where they play certain games. And I guess you can get, like they call it a hack or something, I don't know, where you can, you get in, like if you need gold, you can get a hack where you cheat and you get yourself more gold so you can artificially skew the game so that good things happen to you and not bad things. Life ain't a computer game, guys. Generals, there's no hack out there where you get to go give America better capabilities so that we can win the war game. No. You go to war with what you have, and what you have is insufficient to the task. We have a Navy whose doctrine, whose methodology is derived from World War II, back when big fleets were a thing. Big fleets are no longer a thing because there's hypersonic missiles that can reach out and touch your ship before your ship gets anywhere near the shore. And we don't have the ability to shoot those hypersonic missiles down. So all these great Navy ships we have, the aircraft carrier, Top Gun. I love the movie. I love Top Gun. I love Maverick. I named a dog after Maverick. Great movie, but it's Hollywood. Those aircraft carriers aren't going to get close enough. They're going to be sunk. They're going to the bottom. When they go to the bottom, 5,000 to 7,000 Americans go to the bottom with it. That's the truth. That's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We don't have the military. We've been too busy living off of past glory that we haven't been thinking about, A, what we would need to fight a war with China, and B, do we really want to fight a war with China? because the other thing we have to understand is China has been doing global economy better than us. Biden went to the G7 and said, we have to compete with them Chinese. They've been doing that Belts and Roads Initiative thing, going out there and developing infrastructure around the world. So we're going to compete with a Build Back Better world plan because, Build Back Better works so back good here in America. Flint didn't work, President. You've been lying through your teeth like all presidents do. You don't care about the American people. You only throw words at us. You don't give us what we need, which is the money and the policies necessary to make meaningful change. But now you're trying to convince the world that to spend $600 billion to compete with the Chinese, who in the last several years have spent between $6 and $10 trillion. Anybody here do fantasy football? You get some money, right? And you get to go out and buy your players, and you get to pick players to perform, and then you hope they do well in the game. You can't predict that, but if you spend enough money and get a player that has a history of performance, odds are they're going to do well. So could you think that you could compete in fantasy football with, let's say, a side that had in game terms a $60 million budget to go out and buy all the players they want, and you're going to fight them with, I don't know, $60,000. Okay, so you got 60 grand to go out. You couldn't even afford a scrub like me, okay, to be on your team. And I can guarantee you in fantasy football, if I was one of your players, you would get no points. But that's what the United States is doing. We're going to get the world to spend $60 billion to compete with the Chinese have been spent between 6 and or 600 billion against 6 and 10 trillion already sunk. That's not what they're talking about spending. They've already spent it. They have the team. You got nothing. And you know what happened to that $600 billion province? Nothing happened. Why? Because it's all words. We never followed through. It didn't happen. The war came. The sanctions came. The energy crisis came. And none of that material is manifest. None of that money is manifested. They did a couple little investments here and there, which the Chinese don't care. And now, we want to go and enter an economic conflict with these guys who dominate global supply chains. You remember we couldn't get enough trucks down to the ports to get the stuff out of the ports in Long Beach, and we had the supply crisis here, and prices went up, and all the kids were crying at Christmas because they weren't going to get to have little Sally poop doll or whatever toy that they thought was great. Well, geez, let me tell you what happens. That was a case of too many containers, not enough trucks. What happens when you have too many trucks, but not enough containers? Ladies and gentlemen, that's what will happen the moment we have an economic war with China. There will be no containers because everything is made in China. Everything. Even the stuff that says made in the USA was probably made in China, and somebody just sewed made in the USA on it, or it has Chinese components. Everything is made in China, and that's not a bad thing, because if you think about it for a second, we go back to one of the earlier phases of our conversation where I talked about America being a consumer nation, and we like to consume things that we can afford. We all do it. You go to the store. Really expensive stuff, unless you're, some superstar, rapper or rock and roll guy, you don't have that kind of, or drug dealer. I don't know. People make a lot of money, politicians. If you got that kind of money, you can buy the expensive stuff, walk around with the bling and look cool. But for the most of us, we sit there and go, I'll take the cheap stuff because that's all I can afford. China makes a lot of cheap stuff, and some of it's good, some of it isn't. I don't care. That's your choice. You get to make that decision, but they make it, we consume it. If they stop making it or stop delivering it to us, we don't consume it, and then we're very unhappy people. We don't want to go to war with China, because when we do, this entire economy shuts down. It's gone zippo. This is a very, very artificial economy. America is not as strong as we like to believe.